Alright folks, welcome back. It's been a while, mostly because the script files to view the actual armor model of these tanks were not available in the test server. They were only updated in the live server release, so that took a while. And it's springtime, so I get allergies and hay fever, which is basically allergies induced fever-like symptoms, which sucks in the middle of a pandemic, as well as protesting, so wonderful. But anywho, patch 1.9.1 came out, and as with every new patch, there are new hidden vehicles added to the main directory files, but they are not available for the public yet, so let's take a sneak peek. And the armor model viewer is very important for these three vehicles, because they kinda rely on the armor quite a lot. So we have the Valiant at tier 5, the Lorraine 50T at tier 9, and the Object 780 at tier 10. So Valiant is a premium tier 5 British medium tank. It makes more credits and crew XP, but it is practically a souped up Valentine in essence, but it requires the use of its armor. It's not fast, it's more like a heavy tank-ish, but it's categorized as a medium. Crew of 4 trains your high tier British medium tank crews, but there are so many other options like the Cromwell B, the Firefly VC, AC4, AC1, Experimental, 5-1, 4202. You know, there's a lot of British mediums for your crew training stuff, but has a 75mm and 110 alpha is okay, but 91mm of pen is not great, so it's like 20mm below average, so that's kind of sucky. Takes about 3.7 seconds to reload. Turret traverse of a fat medium slow heavy tank. 12.5 degrees gun depression, that's good. Accuracy could be better, but it's okay. 0.39. And 2.2 seconds of aim time is okay-ish. DPM 1774. It's okay, but I've been playing a lot of the T-34 for the flag mission skin for the T-34-85, and the T-34 has a lot of DPM with the 57mm, so it has armor, so it requires the use of its armor, but has 114mm for the turret front and the hull front, which is very good, and 75 for the hull sides and turret sides, which is also very good. 800 health, that's above average by about 200 or so, I think. The T-34 has like 590, so it's quite a chunky boy, but here's the actual armor model. We're not using a 120mm gun because that's OP at tier 5. So we're using a, let's say 75mm with about 120mm of pen. So frontally, the beak armor of this pseudo pike shape hull is actually the weakest part. It's only 60. Wow! It's only 114 for like the driver hatch support. That's practically it. Or the lower plate. Well, that's false advertising. You get pinned in the hull by almost everything shooting here. That sucks. Turret front 114. It has no mantlet, so just chunk right through the mantlet front or the cheek front supporting next to the gun. But gold shell will pin. If you get frustrated, you'll spam gold shell. So side scrape is not a bad option. 75mm is heavy tank levels of side armor at low tiers, and I do recommend using the 12.5 degrees of gun depression. Yeah, but it's slow. 7.68 horsepower per ton ratio. That is not fast to rev up, and only 19 kilometers per hour top speed. 10 for reverse. Turns like a fat medium. Or slow, light heavy, slow medium. Can't camo, average. Nothing to really see here. View range could be better, but it's average-ish. And radio sucks. Oh my god, what? Why would you get this thing? I mean, if it's free, okay, I won't play it, but why even pay for this? No, I mean, I'll do a more extensive look comparing to other vehicles of the same tier after this video, but this is more of a summary video. So I'll probably give this vehicle a 5.5 out of 10. I mean, there's no reason to get it. Don't want to pay for it, and you don't feel good getting it for free because you don't play this thing. It sucks. Whatever. Dust collector. Like, it's the same concept with the Matilda Black Prince for the British at tier 5. I just don't even play that thing as well. It's also slow. Here is the Lorraine 50T at tier 9. It's a special reward tank. It's a heavy, and it's basically a up armor version of a Lorraine 40T, better frontal plate, and a M4 turret stuck on top. Okay, blah 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 blah. Yeah, pretty much paper tank, but crew of 4 fits most of the 50-100 line. Not exactly the M4 line. You'd need a radio operator for the M4 line, but has a 120mm. And let's take a look at the firepower. Penetration is above average, slightly. It's a standard 120mm gun, so 400 alpha. Takes a long time to reload. It's like 50% longer than a Conqueror to reload this gun. Holy crap, that sucks. DPM suck. 1669 for a tier 9 heavy. That's the same DPM of a T-34 heavy tank at tier 8. By that standard, it also suck. So this is real suck. Accuracy is also not great, 0.38, and 2.88 seconds of aim time is also not great for a 120mm. That should be like 130 with that aim time and that accuracy. It's not good. The gun on this thing suck. But this thing should have armor, and it's fast to utilize that armor. So let's take a look at the speed first, and then we take a look at the armor. So it has about 19.6 horsepower per ton ratio, so it revs up pretty fast. 50 kilometers per hour top speed, 15 reverse. I cannot check the track's terrain resistance because it doesn't allow me to click on it. So I can check it for any tank that I own in the garage. For example, here's the Object 705A. I can see the terrain resistance. I cannot see it for the Lorraine 50T. That's unfortunate, but this thing revs up pretty fast, weighs about 50 tons, and decent upper plate. So ramming with this vehicle is quite fun. But here is the actual armor model. So we're using a 120mm gun with about 250mm of pin. So let's see how good the gun is, or the armor is, against the gun. So upper plate is about 240-ish. Okay, lower plate 260-ish at the same angle. Hull down, it's about 275-ish. Lower plate 220-ish. So you want to hull down with 10 degrees of gun depression. The turret is obviously the strong part about this vehicle. And don't even try to shoot through the turret front unless you have like very high penetration APCR shell or high explosive anti-tank, and by that standard I still don't think it will pin. So yeah, this thing is about hull down and getting to key position pretty quickly. You do have a commander cupola. Is that a commander cupola? That's a machine gun hatch weak spot in the back of the turret. So try to aim for this weak spot, but interesting. It's a small target too. It's about 175mm effective. So hull down is generally what you want with this vehicle, but upper plate will save you against most of the lower calibers like 100mm and lower penetration like about 200mm of pen. So if the enemies are using about 200mm of pen, yeah, your armor is a lot better against smaller caliber guns. But if people don't pen, they'll switch to gold shell, and gold shell will obviously chunk through a lot more of your armor. So yeah, armor is okay. It's I mean it's fast to get to choke points, but DPM suck. Gun handling suck. It's a heavy tank. It's a stalemate tank, and view range is also not that great. 380. That's like, yeah. I mean, then again, it's tier 9 heavy, so. How much would I rate this thing? 7 out of 10? I mean, it could get to key position pretty quick, but this is a stalemate heavy tank. And one weakness about stalemate heavies, the use of artillery. Yeah, you're standing there holding off a oncoming waves of enemy tanks with your hold down position and your strong turret front. Artillery will focus you because you're constantly spotted and you're a very prime target and you have no DPM to bite back. So the gun handling sucks. The DPM sucks. You have the speed. You have the armor. Not exactly the armor, but some of the armor. You get artillery. I'll be generous, 7.5 out of 10, but I still think the guns suck. 7 or 7.5 out of 10. And finally, we have the object 780. It's like a flat 279 or T100 light tank if it was a heavy tank smushed with a IS4, I guess. But it's very small of a lower plate and very small of an upper plate. Holy crap, this thing is it's only a blueprint, so it's a paper tank, but it has a crew of 3, and that's a big downside because you don't get a loader, and most of the Russian tanks with cramped interiors usually get ammo racked or multiple module damage if they get penetrated. So having safe stowage is kind of a prerequisite for Russian heavies. This thing doesn't. You don't get a loader, so no safe stowage. But I don't know. Let's take a look at the gun. It's 130 millimeter. It punched pretty hard. Average time of reload for a large caliber gun and tier 10 heavy. You can get this up to like 2,400 DPM or so ish. Accuracy not bad, 0.36. Very quick aim time. Very quick. 1.9 seconds of aim time for a large caliber gun. That's good. 6 degrees of gun depression. That's also good for Russian heavy. Standard turret rotation speed. Standard reload. Yada yada. It has 300 millimeters of frontal turret armor and 100 for the very highly sloped upper plate. Very highly sloped. So with about 250 millimeters of pen, it's half and half for the upper plate, and a third of the time for the lower plate. I mean that's okay in today's standard. I mean you'll still get pinned by using gold shell, like high explosive anti-tank shells with like 350 millimeters of pen. 2/3 of the time for the upper plate, and better for the lower plate. So people will get tired, they will spam gold shells, and sometimes they will pen. Yeah, they will spam like high penetration APCR shells, or what if it's like 105? It's about the same. So, with like 255 millimeters of pen, half the time to chunk through the upper plate. So, yeah, people will get tired, but it is a small target, so they will try to gold shell your upper plate and your lower plate-ish, but lower plate is actually thicker than the upper plate. So, like the IS-4. You do have the Commander Cupola weak spot, and try to shoot for here, but it's a small target, and it's right behind the gun for some reason. That's the gun access port. Right behind the gun. It has a very futuristic view slit, but there are 3 hatches on this thing. Interesting. Usually that's the loader, that could be the gunner, that's the commander. Usually. But why is the commander behind the gun? He has a large caliber coax. What the hell is this thing? It's like a large ass. Is it a KPV machine gun? Can't tell, but it's a very big coaxial. So you want to slightly side scrape a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't help much. It's still decent shooting at the peak here, but yeah, don't shoot the lower plate. It's very bouncy, and upper plate is about 250 effective. I think more testing is required to shoot at this thing, but I think armor is okay. But then again, if you have the choice of choosing this vehicle over something like the Chieftain, I will probably pick the Chieftain because it's a fucking Chieftain. But if you don't have that option, and you're choosing between this or the VK7201K, I will probably pick this one, obviously, or the M60. Nobody picks the M60. It's fast, 17.47 horsepower per turn ratio, 50 kilometers per hour top speed, 15 reverse, hull traverse like a fat medium, and weighs about 50 tons. So this thing could ram, but not as effective as the Lorraine 50T. Alright, it's a fast moving heavy tank with decent gun handling. Takes way too easy to aim with this gun. Camo, it's a heavy tank, don't even think about it, but 400 meters of view range, standard radio, yada yada. It's like a IS-7 or 277 in terms of view range. Not exactly a super heavy like a 705A, but the downside is you get artillery. It's a big turret front, so it's only 30. Holy crap, you get artillery to hell, and you have no safe stowage loader to utilize that perk, unless the commander has safe stowage, but nobody has safe stowage on the commander. You usually get like recon or mentor or something, I don't know. But on a scale of 10, I will still probably give this thing a 8.5. I mean, people will see this thing and will see how small of an area to hit. And if they miss, and if they hit something like the beak or the cheeks of the hull, it will auto bounce. So it's the nuance factor of being new and nobody has it and very rare to get. Also, the gun handling is very good for a Russian heavy gun, 130. So 8.5 out of 10, maybe 8, but still decent, I think. And obviously I will pick this thing over the VK if I was given the choice, but it's not impenetrable like the Chieftain, so definitely will pick the Chieftain because that thing has busted turret front, as well as gun depression, as well as upper plate, as well as DPM, as well as speed. So definitely would pick the Chieftain over this, but this is not that bad of a choice. So there you go, folks. The hidden vehicles added in patch 1.9.1, but I'll do a more extensive view on each and every of these 3 vehicles coming right up after this video later on. But this is just a quick review of the hidden vehicles added in this patch. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But I was sick, hay fever, fever induced or allergy induced fever symptoms, which is very awkward in the era of coronavirus. So that's always fun. But we have a new season of Battle Pass to choose between the Patton or the T5051. I am split about this one because for the last one, the 277 style is obviously way better than the Conqueror, the Super Conqueror style. Way better. This thing looks a lot better with this style than with the Super Conqueror. So I definitely choose the 277. But now I don't know. I do play the T5051 quite extensively, so tier 10. But oh, that big French. So the patent's good. T5051 is also good. Which style to choose? This thing looks like a praying mantis with a new style. This thing looks like Apocalypse Now, which is also pretty cool. So I don't know, but there you go, folks. I'll talk more later on, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. I'm super rusty, yada yada. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
There's a force and it's trying to drag me down, down. If you go, then I'm going with you now. Don't look back, there's nothing